back to the subject of reaction. Faith, your faith, my faith is not a speech. It is not a mood. It is not a feeling we work up on Sundays. Faith is shown by your reaction. If you have faith, you will not in any wise react to the appearances of lack. You will not hate them. You will not fear them. You will not love them. You will not argue with them. You will be on the middle path, neither taken in by the noise of emptiness nor impressed by the show of fullness. Take no thought for your life, the Master said, and then he sealed it. It is finished. John 19:30. Not it will be, not if you pray loud enough, long enough, cleverly enough. It is. Do you see that? Now, all right, stop chasing supply. Stop bargaining with God. Stop negotiating with circumstances. Stop arranging the human furniture and calling it spiritual progress. The kingdom is not a layaway plan you pay down by affirmations. The kingdom is finished. The kingdom of God is within you, within, not coming by observation, not attracted as though God were a quarry and you the hunter. This is not manifesting. We are not little magnets trying to pull in bigger checks. We are beholders, beholding the ever-present cause and allowing the forms of our day to appear as the natural overflow of that beholding. Supply is not gotten. It is recognized as already finished. I had a letter from a young mother, fictional to your ears, but I assure you it has been written 1,000 times. Sir, my pantry is empty, and my heart is loud with fear. Now, I could enter the case humanly, tell her whom to call, what budget to cut, where to borrow. It would be very easy to react, but you see, that would only confirm the hypnosis, that supply is outside, that she must chase it, catch it, and keep it. Never enter the case humanly. Never permit yourself to become a fixer of appearances. Be still and know that I am God. Be still first, know first, and you will watch the finished kingdom do the showing. It is finished is not a promise but a present. It stands here as here before thought ever starts. Your work, then, is not acquisition. Your work is recognition. Recognition in silence, recognition without petition, recognition that refuses the bait of panic. This is our orientation. If you would test it, begin with your reaction. When the bill comes, when the inbox is empty, when the calendar holds a blank afternoon and your mind calls it failure, do not move. Do not reach for a scheme or a savior outside. Let there be a split-second beta, many seconds of holy non-reaction until there is that indescribable click of presence that says, I am. And then, only then, move as peace overflows. In the hours ahead, we will speak of decisions, but hear this now as the path laid plainly. Recognition precedes action. Recognition governs action. Recognition fulfills action. You will not act to get peace. You will act because peace overflows. You will not act to get supply. You will act because supply recognized appears as right step, right contact, right form. We are not going to use God to change appearances. We are going to let God be God and watch appearances conform. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Added, mind you, not manufactured by mental effort, not coaxed by emotional fever. Added to that which is already finished. So let us set ourselves here at the gate of stillness. Let us refuse reaction as our first sacrament. Let us acknowledge the finished kingdom as present, operative, complete. And as we do, we will find that the chase ends, the breath slows, the heart quiets, and the wisdom that acts without strain begins to show itself, not as our cleverness, not as our will, but as the effortless appearing of that which eternally is. Now let us come straight to the core and do not flinch. God is not power. If God were a power, you would try to use that power, and the moment you try to use a power, you admit there is another power to be used against. There is only one. God is not a power to overcome anything. God is being itself, isness appearing as what we on this plane call supply. God is not mind, not the human mind that calculates and projects. God isn't even soul as you have conceived soul, nor spirit as you have pictured spirit. Nobody knows what God is. I am that I am, the voice spoke to Moses. Do you see? God declares being, not function, presence, not performance. And yet, in the recognition of that presence, what you call function and performance, bread on the table, wisdom in the hour, peace in the heart appear without strain, without petition, without manipulation. Do not turn to God for things. Do not turn to God for money, for rent, for clients, for health. Turn to God for God. Turn to God to witness God, to behold the eye that is before Abraham was, and let the rest be added as shadows follow form. The hour cometh, the Master told the woman at the well, when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father, but the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. John 4, neither on this mountain, nor in that office, nor at that bank, nor by that marketplace. Spirit and truth. Supply is spiritual, then seen. Never the other way round. When you try to make spirit fetch a visible, you have inverted the order and you have left the temple of truth. When you consent to spirit as all, the visible finds its rightful place as the natural byproduct of presence. Cease begging prayers. Cease bargaining. Cease promising God you will do better next time if only this once. He will come through. God does not come through. God is, and when God is realized, really realized, the so-called needs lose their voice and the forms arrange themselves as obedient servants of the one appearing, you see. You will find sometimes in the smallest ways that are the largest proofs that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65-24. Not by your words, not by your clever verses, but by being revealing itself in the silence where no thought takes credit. You ask, then, how do I pray? Not by instructing the infinite in the mechanics of rent and groceries, not by tracing mental blueprints of the exact door through which supply must walk. Be still, consent, sit down in the midst of the noise that shouts not enough, and let there be that split-second stretch it, if grace permits, of holy non-reaction, until the click of presence is there, however slight, however fleeting. Do not leave until you have it, or at least until you are no longer bargaining for it. Then rise, and if there is a call to be made, a letter to be written, an errand to be done, you will find you are not doing it to get, you are watching God appear as right step, and in that watching there is no fear of the outcome. All these things shall be added unto you, added, not manufactured, not conjured, not wrestled from a reluctant universe, added to the eye that is realized. The lilies do not toil or spin, and yet your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. Do you believe that? Not theologically, but practically, so practically that you refuse to use God as your private power station for human projects. We are not to use God. We are to let God be God. And as God is God, supply is nothing more nor less than God appearing, God functioning, God at rest, as the bread, the idea, the invitation, the quiet of your night. So let us make a clean break with the old habit. Never enter the case humanly as fixer. Never plead for effects. Never outline the road. Behold presence. Rest in presence. Consent to presence. And watch. without push, without hurry, without fear, as the forms of your day line up like well-trained children before a gentle teacher. When God is realized, you do not make things happen. You discover what has already been finished, and you call it Tuesday's meal, Wednesday's meeting, Thursday's solution. That is God appearing as supply, not a power to use, but the one to behold, in spirit and in truth. Now we come to the measure by which we can know if any of this has taken root. It is not how beautifully you can state truth. It is not how solemnly you can close your eyes. Faith is shown by your reaction, and non-reaction is the altar at which faith offers itself. When the appearance of shortage stands before you, an invoice with its little teeth, an empty calendar with its little taunts, you neither fear, love, nor hate it. Do you see that? To love an appearance is to cling to it. To fear it is to bow before it. To hate it is to fight a shadow and call the wrestling holy. We are on the middle path when we neither fear, love, nor hate any appearance. There is one, and there is only one. And appearances are the flicker of light on water, shaped by wind, stilled by calm, but never the water itself. Practically now, because this must live in kitchens and offices and inboxes. The bill is due Friday, the bank account is thin, the supervisor has not called back, the rumor says the department will right-size. All right, do not enter the case humanly. Sit down inside, let there be one breath, not as a technique to move money, but as consent to the I, that is God. One breath, and in that breath, a willingness to let Christ's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Not your will to have Friday arranged to your liking, not your will to make the supervisors see your worth, but Christ's will, which is presence manifesting as harmony because it is harmony. One breath, a split second of silence, a quiet readiness to do nothing until peace has said, move. If it does not, do not. If it does, do not hurry. You see, we are learning the cadence of the kingdom. Now, I will tell you the secret that strips the panic of its costume. Never desire to change appearances. Desire only to know God, and appearances will change of their own accord as shadows lengthen and shorten by the sun. The moment you want to change the bill, to change the balance, to change the market, you have made the bill a power, the balance a power, the market a power, and then you have 2, perhaps 3, perhaps a dozen powers to manipulate. There is only one. Turn to that one for its own sake, God for God, and the added things will find their level, their timing, their name. If it must be Friday, Friday will carry its own sufficiency. If it must be a Tuesday call from a friend you had not thought of in 10 years, let it be so. You are not to outline, you are to behold. Remember how the Master came across the water in that dark hour, and the wind painted monsters upon the sea, and the disciples cried out from their imagined peril, be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid, Matthew 14:27. It is I. The storm image dissolves in recognition, not because you rebuked the weather with clever words, not because you struck a bargain with a deity to spare your boat, but because I was seen where the waves were shouting, peace, be still, he said to the wind and to the waves, and he might have said it to the disciples' hearts. When it is I that stands before the ledger, before the pantry, before the performance review, the ledger becomes paper, the pantry becomes a cupboard, the review becomes a conversation. The spell is broken. It is I. Do you feel the release of that? So let us adopt as a rule of life the smallest, purest practice, the pause. One breath before you answer the text, one breath before you open the account, one breath before you draft another pleading email. In that breath, let go the desire to alter the picture. Let it be. Acknowledge. if only in a whisper without words, I, God, am. Not I will act if you will fund it, not I will believe if Friday goes my way, I, God, am. And then, only then, if an action is required, it will be the child of peace, not the cure for fear. Sometimes it will be a phone call that has no tremor of need in it. Sometimes it will be to fold the laptop and sweep the kitchen floor. Sometimes it will be to wait the afternoon through, and you will discover that waiting is not idleness when it is done in God. It is the womb in which the form ripens. Be not afraid. It is I. Keep that as your benediction in the face of lack. Not be not afraid because I will fix this, but be not afraid because I am here, and where I am there is fullness, even if the shape of that fullness has not yet knocked on your door. The quiet heart sees supply because the quiet heart beholds God, and God, beholding itself, appears as sufficiency. This is the doorway. Stand there in stillness, neither resisting nor embracing the picture, and you will feel the click by which the kingdom adds unto you what you had tried so long to chase. Now carry this into money and work, because here is where the hypnosis of sides is most insistent. Employer and employee, buyer and seller, investor and founder, each with a brief, each with a grievance, each with a story. Do not take a side, not even the side that hires you. Your allegiance is not to a person, not to a firm, not to a union, not to a bottom line. Your allegiance is to principle. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. John 7:24. Righteous judgment is not who is right. It is what is the activity of God here. Christ is the only identity, not the foreman with his temper, not the junior analyst with her panic, not the client with his demands. There is neither Jew nor Greek, bond nor free, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. Galatians 3:28. You see, dissolve the labels in the light of oneself and the smoke of resentment, greed, and favoritism has nothing to cling to. In practice, this means that when you walk into the negotiation, you leave your private sympathies at the door. Ignore the person, get to the principle. Never enter the case humanly. Do not let a raised voice or a flattering compliment move you off the middle path. If their offer is harsh, do not fear it. If their praise is sweet, do not love it. Be still inside the talk, even while you are speaking. Let there be the split second of silent contact before each answer, until the peace within you governs the word from your mouth. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. Simple, clean, unhooked from the need to win. Your interest is to bring forth a spiritual activity. If the one that hired you wants to lose, that is his business. If he wants to win at the expense of integrity, that is his business too. Yours is to stand with principle and watch what principle reveals. I recall a case, let it be in Chicago for your imagination, where I was asked as a consultant to help close a contract that had been bleeding months of time and barrels of goodwill. The executive on one side had engaged me and made it very clear, we must win these terms. All right. I did not take his side. I did not take the other side. I politely refused both and sat inwardly before God. In the first session, the old rhythm tried to start, posturing, feints, and little half-threats. I could feel the room wanting to rush the walls. So we paused outwardly. I asked for a comfort break. Inwardly, I consented to the I that is God. When we reconvened, without any cunning on my part, a small sentence came. What would this look like if both sides refused to invoice for penalties? Now, that was not strategy. That was a pebble dropped into a still pond. the pattern shifted. They spoke, and for the first time they heard terms changed, not all to my client's liking. He asked later, "Did we win?" I said, "That is your business." Ours was to let a spiritual activity take the field. Weeks later, he called again to say the new terms, which looked like less, had freed their cash flow and mended a relationship that had been poisoning their market for years. Do you see? Outcomes follow allegiance. When allegiance is to principle, forms align themselves to bear fruit of the same kind. Now, this is not magical thinking. It is the refusal to attribute power to personalities. The greedy sales manager is not a power. The fearful intern is not a power. The charming investor is not a power. There is only one. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24:1. If the earth is the Lord's, then no person is your source, and no person can be your lack. Christ is the identity in the one who signs checks and in the one who waits for them. In that light, resentment has nowhere to live, favoritism has no anchor, and greed, discovering there is no other to outwit, falls silent. So here is our protocol, because you must have a simple rule. When the meeting heats and the mind tries to lunge, ignore the person, get to the principle. Do not react to their face, their title, their offer, their warning. Withdraw for a fraction of a breath into the inner sanctuary. Let the click be your cue. If there is no click, say, "Let me consider," and wait. This kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting, fasting from opinions, from savior fantasies, from the lust for victory. Pray without words. Hold to the realization, I, God, am. Then speak, if speech comes. If it does not, be content to be the quiet in the room. You may find that silence negotiates more truth than rhetoric ever has. And if the appearance turns, if the employer dismisses you, if the buyer walks, if an account closes in a way the world names lost, do not take the bait. Promotion cometh neither from the east nor from the west, but God is the judge. Psalm 75:6-7. Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. John 19:11. Let God have its perfect work. Your supply is not in the mood of a manager or the signature of a client. Your supply is God appearing as right place, right time, right form, and that appearing is faithful when your allegiance is clean. Seek first the kingdom in the conference room as much as in the chapel, and all these things, contracts, calls, commissions, shall be added unto you, added as the overflow of peace, not as trophies of combat. Stay with the principle and watch the work of your hands become transparent to the work that never began and never ends. Now let us be simple and very exact, because if you will take this into the marrow, your decisions will cease to be gambles and will become obediences. We are not looking for a technique. We are consenting to a consecration. This is the recognition prayer, and it is not a prayer to get an answer. It is the silence in which God is seen to be the answer. Take no thought, the Master said, and then be still and know that I am God. Not be still and think about God. Be still and know. All right, how? First, withdraw from concepts. Forget for a split second all the truth you ever knew. Yes, even your finest verses and your cleanest affirmations. Nobody, by taking thought, can contact God. Put the book down, close the notebook. Let even your most beloved spiritual phrases go by like birds you do not cage. Fast. This kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Fasting from what? From opinions, from arguments, from urgencies, from the itch to decide, from the clock's roar. Sit back inside yourself and consent to emptiness, holy emptiness, in which there is no theology standing between you and the invisible. If you find yourself trying to remember the right statement, that is the moment to stop remembering. Let thought fall through your fingers. 1 breath. 2. Silence without project. Then, in that quiet, acknowledge not as words to move God, but as recognition of what already is. I, God, am the life, law, and supply here. I need do nothing of myself. Let the echo of the Master steady you. I can of mine own self do nothing. John 5:30. I of myself cannot choose rightly, but I in God watch right choice appear. In him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. Feel that? Not a sentence, but a law of isness. God is the life of this decision. God is the law of its unfolding. God is the supply embodied as time, wisdom, contact, form. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. Not passivity, peace, not abdication, acknowledgement that there is only one activity and it governs effortlessly. Now wait for the click. Do not look for a voice. Do not strain for fireworks. The click is that inward release, a felt rightness, a sudden quiet that needs no argument. Sometimes it is as soft as a feather touching the surface of a bowl. Sometimes it spreads through the chest like warm light. Sometimes it is only the absence of pressure where a moment ago the mind was shouting. If the click is not there, wait again. Better to miss a bargain than to miss God. Better to let the train go than to board in fear. This impulse to fix, to rush, to prove goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Fasting from the belief that your speed is your safety. Fasting from the picture that a wrong choice will exile you from good. Sit until peace arrives, and if it does not, sit again later. You see, we are being weaned from reaction to revelation. No visualization, no forcing. Do not outline the door through which supply or guidance must walk. Do not color it in your mind and then call that faith. Contact first, instructions later. When the click is present, you may find yourself dialing a number with no tremor of getting in it, or you may write the email and discover there is no flattery in it, or you may send nothing at all and go wash a dish. The action is the child of peace, not the cure for fear. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Psalm 37-23. And when a step is ordered, you will feel in it an authority without strain. You will not need to prop it up with 10 reasons or 3 friends' approvals. If there is no step, hold your place. To add human motion where God has given none is to sow confusion and call it industry. This is the blueprint, and it fits into the smallest spaces of an ordinary day. Before you answer the text that has thorns in it, withdraw and forget, acknowledge and wait. Before you press send on the proposal, withdraw and forget, acknowledge and wait. Before you say yes to an invitation that flatters or no to an opportunity that frightens, withdraw and forget, acknowledge and wait. A split second, if that is all you have, a half hour, if grace grants it. Do not judge your demonstration by the clock. Let God have its perfect work. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Psalm 119-105. Not a flare gun to show you a mile ahead, a lamp at your feet to show the next right inch. Direct God contact and silence precedes and governs every wise decision. Seek first. Be still. Feel the click. Then, only then, let peace walk you where it has already arrived. All right, let us take a plain hour. The rent is due tomorrow, and the nerves say, act now, do something, send 5 texts, swipe a card, borrow, explain, beg. That is the bait. Never enter the case humanly. Do not take sides with the calendar as a power. Do not make the landlord a power. Do not enthrone your bank balance as oracle. Sit down inside yourself and let there be that holy non-reaction we have spoken of. Take no thought, for your life is not a slogan, it is a gate. Step through it. Close the door, and in that room shut the mouth of concepts. If you can form the words at all, let them be as simple as breathing. Father, it is finished. Not Father, finish it by noon. Not Father, incline Mr. So-and-so's heart. Father, it is finished. Right now, I nullify any seeming law in a deadline. There is no law in God that makes a date a tyrant. There is no power in time to confer fear or punishment. I am Alpha and Omega. The scripture sings beginning and ending in a single isness. Consent to that. And so you sit not to move money, not to angle for an extension, not to gather brave feelings, but to be still in God. The body may fidget, let it. The mind may try to draft speeches, let it pass like a train you do not board. Wait. This kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Fasting not from food alone, but from the mental food we have chewed so long, outlining, bargaining, planning, praising, and blaming. Prayer that is silence. Fasting that is refusal to feed the appearance. And then perhaps quickly, perhaps not for some minutes, there is the quiet click. Not fireworks, not a trance, not a chorus of angels, a click. The breath deepens of its own accord, the shoulders release their petition, and there is a sense so faint at first you may almost miss it of presence being present. Be still and know that I am God. There, it is known, however lightly. In that knowing, the fear ebbs, the picture remains, but its voice loses authority. You are on the middle path now. From that peace, something appears, not a command, not a compulsion, but a nudge as natural as reaching for a glass of water when you are thirsty. Perhaps it is to write a brief note to the landlord. Not a story, not an apology wrapped in panic, but a simple, unadorned sentence. I will bring the rent on the 15th. Please apply the maintenance credit from March as discussed. You had forgotten that credit, peace remembered. Or perhaps the nudge is to look once more at the online account unhurried and you see a small, unexpected deposit, a reimbursement you did not expect until next month. Or no step at all arises, only a rest so clean that you sleep, and in the morning an email sits quietly in the inbox. We've extended due dates by 1 week during the building repairs. Do you see that? You did not make a thing happen. You let the finished happen be seen. You did not employ God. God appeared as a right line in a ledger, a right thought in right sequence, a right form at the right hour. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65-24. Notice the order. Recognition first dissolves fear. Fear dissolved, action appears as the overflow of peace. You did not act to get peace. You acted because peace was present, and in that presence, the step carried no tremor of bargain. There was no, if I say it just so, they will be kind. There was no, I must perform worthiness for my supper. There was only the recognition that the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Psalm 23. And then the shepherding appeared as an extension, a credit remembered, a fresh idea that did not taste of strain. Tomorrow, another form. We do not make a shrine of outcomes. Do not watch the clock to see if God can keep time. Do not tally miracles as personal trophies. Let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Matthew 6-3. Give thanks within, quiet thanks without adjectives, and return to the silence that brought you there. This is not a technique. It is not the magic sentence. It is not the posture of a body. It is presence recognized, and presence recognized is sufficient. If this time the answer came as a week's grace, bless it and be still. If next time it comes as a new piece of work that fits like a key in a lock, bless it and be still. If it comes as the courage to release a lease and the joy to move into a simpler space with sunlight and less noise, bless it and be still. Never enter the case humanly by condemning or exalting the forms. We are not to love or hate the appearance. We stand with principle, and we let God have its perfect work in its own way. And when fear tries to rise again as habit will, you know your altar. One breath. It is I. Be not afraid. One click, and then, only then, the child of peace takes your hand and walks you to the next right thing. Now let us unmask the tempter in this next arena, because if you do not unmask it, you will spend precious hours whipping yourself for a sin you never committed. Scarcity, as it comes to your door, is not your personal failure. It is not the fruit of your unworthiness, your laziness, your bad budgeting, or your late prayers. This has nothing to do with you as person. It is a universal belief presenting itself for acceptance. You see, a pressure in the atmosphere, a suggestion that there is not enough time, money, wisdom, opportunity, seeks entrance. And if you accept it as yours, wear it as your name, you have identified with a ghost and called it Father. Never do that. Never enter the case humanly by arguing, I should have, I could have, I would have. We are not confessing guilt to appease a false god of economics. We are beholding one, for there is no power but of God, Romans 13:1. If there is no power but of God, then lack cannot be a power, cannot be a law, cannot be a cause. It is a voice without breath, thunder without a storm behind it. Do you see how it plays? Like a market panic that begins with a rumor in one office and before noon has whole cities darting and ducking as if the rumor were a statute written on stone. Like contagion that travels not because there is a law to support it, but because minds, unguarded by recognition, imitate fear the way a crowd imitates a shout. Infection and contagion have no law to support them, and scarcity has no law to support it. It is suggestion impersonally broadcast, and it seeks an identity, yours, if you will lend it. Do not lend it. We are on the middle path when we neither fear the appearance of lack, love the brief surges of plenty, nor hate the oscillation between them. We recognize the whole puppet theater as appearance, and we turn within to principle, silent, steady, one. All right, then, what is our move? Not to debate the appearance, not to slap affirmations over it like paint on damp wood, acknowledge its impersonality, say quietly, cleanly, without heat. This is not mine. This is a universal belief of shortage, attempting to write its name upon my door. Then, if you will have a sentence as a broom to sweep the threshold, take this. Right now, I nullify any seeming effect of this universal belief. That is all. Do not fight. Do not add reasons. Do not try to feel brave. Nullify and return at once to silence. This kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting, fasting from identification, fasting from the urge to track results, fasting from the flattery or the fright that appearances propose. Sit until the click. Even if the click in this hour is only a slight lessening of the pressure behind the eyes. Sit and let the I, that is God, be the only activity. You will notice what happens when you treat it impersonally. Guilt lifts, the scourge of I did this to myself loosens its knot, and with it the shame that kept you from the very silence where healing lives. The capacity to witness supply increases because the inner lens is no longer fogged by self-accusation. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, John 8:32. What truth? That there is only one law, one life, one cause, that appearances, whether they shout famine or whisper delay, are not endowed with authority. Know that, not as rhetoric, but as recognition, and you will find that ideas appear quiet, unhurried, exact. A student wrote me Let it be an office in Denver. I stared at the spreadsheet until my stomach burned. Then I remembered, this is universal belief. I said the sentence, and I waited. 10 minutes later, the same numbers arranged themselves into a pattern I had been too tight to see. A call followed unsolicited, opening a path we had not thought existed. Now, was that mind power? No. It was fear dissolving in the recognition of one, and the form taking its cue from peace. Market contagions will come and go. Rumor will do its little dance. Your inbox will swell and thin like tides. Do not take the bait. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, Isaiah 54-17, and a universal belief is a weapon only when you give it your name. Keep your name in God. Keep your identity in Christ. When the whisper of not enough brushes your ear, answer once impersonal, nullified, and then enter the sanctuary where no whisper enters. In that stillness, the table is prepared in the presence of mine enemies. Psalm 23-5. Not after the enemies are gone, but right there, while appearances still scowl. And you will eat in peace, not because you bent the world to your will, but because you refused to let a lawless suggestion borrow your face. Guidance in motion is not hurry baptized, it is peace taking a step. Right action is the child of peace, not the cure for fear. Therefore the sequence is sacred. Recognition, peace, then act. Never reverse the order. Do not attempt to use action to manufacture peace. Do not try to outrun the ache by doing. Recognize God, one presence, one law, one life, until fear yields its seat. Let the inner ocean still, then if a step appears, it will not be argument, it will be offspring. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts, Colossians 3:15. Rule means govern, umpire. Let peace call the ball fair or foul. If there is no peace, there is no play. All right? How will you know? The sign of rightness is quiet. The step will feel light, unhurried, clean. It will carry no bargain in its pockets. No, if I do this, then they will do that. If I speak so, they must say yes. It will ask for no witnesses and need no applause. There will be authority without strain, a simplicity without performance. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, Isaiah 30-15, and you will sense that strength not as push but as poise. Conversely, if anxiety is the color on the step, if the pulse is bargaining, if the mind is tallying the future like a gambler, stop, return to silence, test the spirit. Be careful for nothing, Philippians 4-6. If care is present, it is not yet the spirit's hour. Better to be still than to be dramatic. Better to lose an opportunity than to lose your allegiance. Let us take a living instance. A position is offered, let it be in Seattle. The title is handsome. The salary is larger than any you have known. There is a startup shimmer to the talk. The recruiter's voice warmed with flattery, and the old hunger stirs. Move now. Say yes. Secure the future. That is the bait. Do not bite. Do not chase. Sit. Close the door and forget all the arguments that men and women make at such hours. Forget the family's opinions, the friend's envy, the story of what this title will make you. Nobody, by taking thought, can contact God. Fasting now from images of corner offices, from dread of saying no, from the itch to answer before sundown, enter the inner room and recognize, I, God, am the life and law of my work. I am not looking to a company for my breath. My sheep hear my voice, John 10:27. I will wait for that voice where it speaks within. Wait for the click. Perhaps it comes as a soft untying in the chest, a rightness that requires no masking smile. From that peace, questions arise not to test them, but to honor the principle. What will be the integrity of our product's claims? How is truth handled when it hurts? There is no edge in your tone. There is no tremor of trying to hold them. You are not loyal to gain, you are loyal to God. If their answer is full of light and the click deepens, you proceed. Your acceptance is not a lunge, but a foot placed on a step that is already there. If, as sometimes happens, the answers are evasions and the light withdraws, you decline without sermon, without scorn, without inner noise. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Isaiah 26:3. Stayed means stayed when a big number is waved before your eyes. Stayed when a dear one urges compromise. Stayed when a fear whispers, this is your one chance. There is no one chance in God. There is one life, infinitely expressed. As you act from peace, you remain on the middle path. Do not fear their enthusiasm. Do not love it. Do not fear their pushback. Do not hate it. Ignore the person. Stand with principle. You are not taking the company's side, not taking your resume's side, not even taking your dream's side. You are consenting to God appearing as right place, right labor, right wage. If they withdraw the offer because you would not flatter, that is their business. If they sweeten the offer because you would not chase, that is their business. Yours is to let the peace of Christ be your only green light. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, Psalm 37-23. Ordered steps do not stumble to persuade the future to be kind. So here is the protocol as you move through any decision on the wing. Stop, recognize, wait, click, act. If at any point the lightness dims and care begins to crawl over the act like ivy, lay it down at once and return to silence. We are not timing God, we are trusting God. Do not judge your demonstration by the hour hand. Let God have its perfect work. Peace precedes motion. Motion carries peace. And when the motion is done, peace remains. That is the mark. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. John 14:27. Let that peace be the only credential you carry into the meeting, the interview, the yes, the no, and watch how form arranges itself without strain to bear the likeness of what sent it. Now about time, because if you begin to count minutes, you will lose miles. Do not watch your demonstration day by day. Do not dig up the seed to see if it has become a stalk. For the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself. First the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear, Mark 4:28. Of herself, do you see? Your watching does not hasten the blade. Your fretting does not sweeten the ear. The husbandman waits. The sap moves in the dark. The orchard ripens without drama. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it. James 5-7. Long patience, not because God delays, but because maturation is the way wisdom appears as form. Timing belongs to God. Our part is non-reaction and consent. Saul of Tarsus did not hear a word on the Damascus road and then launch a ministry by sundown. 9 years desert, obscurity, learning the sound of the voice in the quieter registers before he went out. Do not despise your season of quiet. Do not call unimportance what God calls seed time. Jesus vanished into Nazareth for long, unrecorded years. He walked into Jordan only when the hour was fulfilled, not because a calendar rang. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40-31. Waiting is not idleness. It is inner governance. It is letting the roots go down where no applause can reach them, so that when the wind comes, and it will, the tree does not negotiate with weather. What then of hours, when the fear is stubborn, when the picture will not loose its teeth? Night watches, not statements, not arguments, not even your favorite truth repeated like a charm. I remember thee upon my bed and meditate on thee in the night watches. Psalm 63-6. Sit in the dark with presence. Fast not from bread, from concepts. Forget all the truth you ever knew for a little while. This kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Fasting from the itch to fix, fasting from the habit to monitor, fasting from the belief that your clock is a law. Let the house be quiet. Let the breath lengthen of itself. Say nothing, or say only, I am here, thou art here. Stay until the click, or until you are too tired to sit, and then lie down in the peace you have, not in the peace you wish you had. You will find that the night trims the wick. By morning, the same facts may stand in the room, but their flame does not burn you. Peace has arrived, and the timing of form is no longer your tyrant. Outcome belongs to God. Peace belongs to you now. If form delays, peace need not. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:2. Salvation from what? From fear's governance, from the calendar as Pharaoh, from the belief that supply appears by your speed. Let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. James 1-4. Wanting nothing means you are not trying to force the blossom, you are consenting to ripening. When you stop staring at the branch, you will hear the bird. When you stop insisting on Tuesday, you will find that Wednesday is already provided for quietly, exactly, in a way you could not have diagrammed without violence. So, in these days, if you feel that life is paused, do not call it failure, call it ripening. Refuse to take sides with the clock. Never enter the case humanly by counting evidences or scolding delays. Stand with principle. Recognize, be still, and let God have its perfect work. If today there is only the blade, bless the blade. If tomorrow there is the ear, bless the ear. If next week there is full corn, bless the corn. But do not build your altar on the field. Build it within. The kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17:21. That kingdom is finished. Its peace is not on layaway. Consent to it. You see, when timing is God's, your hours are not squandered, they are sanctified. And supply, which is already finished, will appear on time because time itself yields to the one who is timeless. Now, having let time be God's, let people be God's as well, because as long as you believe a person is your channel, your hour will be governed not only by the clock, but by their moods. This is a hard saying, and I will not sweeten it. If you are not willing to leave mother, brother, sister, father for my sake, do you see? You cannot keep your allegiance clean. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Matthew 10:37. This is not a license for rudeness, nor a theology of coldness. It is the straight edge that frees you from idolatry. Supply is never a person. Guidance is never a person. Peace is never a person. Call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 23:9. If you tether your well-being to any human face, you have fastened the sacred thing to a moving post, and you will be dragged. We do not enter the case humanly. We do not take sides with personalities, neither with the one who flatters, nor with the one who threatens, not even with the one we adore. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. Psalm 146:3. Our help is in God, and when we hold a principle, the forms straighten themselves as a line follows a plumb. Sometimes, for that line to be clean, there must be a separation. Let's have it without drama, without indictment, without the theater of hurt. Sometimes a separation is very spiritual. If spiritual harmony can only be achieved through separation, let us have it, not as punishment, as purification, as release from person as source. Let me show you how this appears. Two students, let it be a design partnership in Chicago, came with a tangle of accounts and tempers. One said, He is the rainmaker. Without him, we cannot keep the lights on. The other said, she is the only one who can deliver. Without her, we will lose our contracts. That was the idol speaking in two costumes. We would not take the bait. We did not counsel, compromise, or propose new splits. We withdrew all of us into the silence. This kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Fasting not merely from bread, but from the belief that any one of us was the source of livelihood. We sat until the click. Then I said very quietly, supply is not in this office. It is in God. Are you willing, for God's sake, to lose this partnership if that is the way to lose the idol? Their faces changed, not because they liked the possibility, but because something in them recognized the chain and wanted air. They agreed to stand with principle, not with personalities, and to take no steps until peace, not fear, ordered them. In the following days, as each sat in his own silence, the contour of peace emerged. For one, the click came with the word teach, for the other with the word refine. No edict passed between them, no ultimatum. They met, and from that poise, they dissolved the partnership in peace. No accusations. The agreements were clean. The assets divided without heat. Each blessed the other, and they parted. Within 3 months, one had a sole proprietor studio that took on fewer clients, but at a higher integrity, and with it, a government project his old fear could never have waited for. The other began a small teaching appointment and a stream of advisory work that fit her gift like a measured garment. Both prospered, not because they fought and won, but because the idol fell, and with it, the clog in the channel. Before they call, I will answer. Isaiah 65-24. The answer had been waiting. The tie had been in the way. Do not think manipulation will not come to test you after you make such a stand. It will. A client will hint that your future rides on saying yes tonight. A relative will imply that love is measured in checks. A beloved will make wounded music until you dance to an old rhythm. Do not fight. Refuse to fight a personality. We are on the middle path when we neither fear, love, nor hate any appearance. Stand with principle. Withdraw into the inner room and acknowledge, I, God, am the law and life of this tie. There is only one channel appearing as many forms. Then wait for the click. If the action is to say no, you will say it as if placing a feather on a table, no clang. If the action is to revise an agreement, the words will come without performance. If the action is to be silent, you will not be withholding, you will be obeying. You see the fruit of this? Channels open. New forms appear because you have stopped trying to wring life out of an old one. Clean agreements arise because you are not bargaining for breath. Creativity runs without hindrance because there is no fear of losing your source. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Exodus 20-3 is not a museum command. It is a living economics. When the human claim is released, God appears as form in his own way and time. A right client without flattery, a right employer without threats, a right companion without hooks. If one departs because you would not worship, let them. If one arrives because you would not chase, bless them and hold them lightly. Your allegiance is single. Your tie is to God. And when that tie is recognized, every other tie finds its right length and knot, and none of them bind. Now we come to hours and minutes, to the plain benches of an ordinary day. Do not think in terms of heroic vigils. Think in terms of small obediences that make a rhythm. Pray without ceasing. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 is not a marathon of words. It is a breath returning again and again to recognition. Several times a day at the sink, at a doorway, when the phone vibrates, when the browser opens, let there be a micro pause, one breath that says inwardly, it is finished, John. 1930, and then no more words. Not a chant, not a lever, recognition, then silence. One exhale into the fact of God, and then let the breath finish the prayer. Be still and know that I am God. A heartbeat of non-reaction, and the day is washed. Make thresholds your altar. Every transition, keys in the hand, car into park, elevator doors closing is a bell. Stop for one breath. Forget for that split second all the truth you ever knew. Nobody by taking thought can contact God, so withdraw thought and consent to the finished kingdom already present. Do you see what happens? You are removing your name from the universal belief that hours run you. You are not trying to change the appearance. You are refusing to let the appearance define you. One breath. It is finished. And then let the click, sometimes no more than the softest easing, establish the center. From there you go on, but you go on governed. Commerce can be liturgy when the heart is still. Approach emails, budgets, and meetings from center, not from clutching. Do not enter the inbox humanly. Before you draft, fast one breath of emptiness in which you abstain from outcome prayer, from flattery, from fear. This kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting, Matthew 17:21. Fasting here means you lay down the appetite to be liked, to be quick, to be right, then acknowledge quietly, I, God, am the life and law of this exchange, and wait for the feather touch of peace. From that peace, write simply, let your yea, yea, nay, nay, Matthew 5:37, be clean, no performance, no padding. Send and return to silence. Do not hover over the outbox as if your vigilance could midwife the answer. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. Hold it. Budgets become sacraments in the same way. Do not love the surges or hate the dips. Sit a moment before the ledger. Nullify the impersonal suggestion of scarcity. Then look, the same numbers, viewed through recognition, reorder themselves without fanfare. Meetings, too, arrive early enough for one breath in the hallway. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, Isaiah 30:15. You are not there to win, not there to lose, not there to prove. You are there that principle may appear as clarity and fairness. If the room swirls with personalities, ignore the person and stay with principle. Neither fear, love, nor hate the talk. Peace will choose your words, and they will be few. Language hygiene belongs to this rule of life. Retire anxiety speech. Stop saying, I'm drowning, I'm slammed, I'm behind. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Psalm 141:3. Not because words magically cause things, but because frantic words confess another God. Speak principle quietly. God is the life of this task. Peace is the law here, and then be still. Do not try to feel brave. Do not decorate the moment with slogans. Say little and let the inner government be the substance. Let your speech be always with grace. Colossians 4:6. Grace is quiet. Sabbath becomes hourless. The Master said the Sabbath was made for man, Mark 2:27, and he said there would be no worship tied to mountains or cities, but in spirit and in truth, John 4:23. So take Sabbath where you stand, car, corridor, checkout line, while the kettle hums, consent to presence for 10 seconds. While the cashier scans, say within, it is finished, and then no, not say. While a child calls from the next room, pause in the doorway, breathe once into God, and enter as peace. Man was not made for the Sabbath, nor Sabbath for a day. Sabbath is the breath that gathers you to the center and lets the hour unfold without your tyranny. That is the rule. A simple, steady, rhythm of recognition. Micro pauses as the spine, commerce as liturgy, mini fasts before you draft, dial, or decide, language that refuses to feed fear, Sabbath anywhere. Keep it quiet, keep it steady, and do not judge by quick results. Let God have its perfect work. Over days and weeks, you will notice that the air of your life clears, friction lessens, timing softens, unforced opportunities appear, stale efforts fall away. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. My cup runneth over. Psalm 23. You did not chase the cup. You tended the stillness, and overflow took care of itself. Outcome belongs to God. Peace belongs to you now. Recognize, rest, and watch supply appear as the natural weather of a heart that neither reacts nor begs, but abides. All right, we have walked this road together long enough to see the thread, and it is one thread, not many. Non-reaction as the measure of faith, principle over personalities, silence before words, error seen as impersonal and lawless, time given back to God, and ties loosened from person as source. Do you see? We did not add a new technique to old fears. We took our hands off the wheel and let the government be upon his shoulder. It is finished, John 19:30, is not a line from history. It is the present tense of your life. Supply is finished in God. Peace is finished in God. Guidance is finished in God. Our part is recognition. We recognize, we rest, we let God appear as form in his own way and time. The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. Within, not ahead. Within, not elsewhere. So here is the charge, and keep it simple so you can keep it faithful. Before any step, recognize, close the door on the noise, let every argument stand outside without hat or coat. Say within, I, God, am the life and law of this moment. There is only one. Wait for the click. After peace act, not to get peace, not to bargain for peace, but because peace has overflowed into a shape that looks like a word, a call, a yes, a no. Then drop the outcome. Do not hover over the seed. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. If there is no ruling peace, there is no play. If they say yes, that is their business. If they say no, that is their business. Yours is recognition, peace act release. No drama, no campaign, no sides. And when the old temptation rises to use power to force a change, to wrestle an appearance, remember at once, God is not power. Do not try to enlist God as a stronger arm against a weaker arm. Nobody by taking thought can contact God. Forget all the truth you ever knew for a little while and go into prayer and fasting. This kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. Matthew 17:21. Fasting from the itch to manage. Fasting from the appetite to see quick results. Fasting from your favorite phrases until only presence remains. Be still and know no arguments, no mental carpentry. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. In that stillness, the counterfeit power collapses of itself because it never had law. When scarcity or fear rattles your doorknob, do not take it personally. It is a universal belief seeking a face. Refuse the loan of your name. Quietly nullify. Right now, I nullify any seeming effect of this universal belief. Then return to silence. We are on the middle path when we neither fear, love, nor hate any appearance. And remember your freedom from person as source. Call no man your father upon the earth. Bless the channels, but cling to no channel. If spiritual harmony requires a separation, let's have it without heat, without blame, with that feather touch that proves allegiance is already settled in God. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Not the weapon of panic, not the weapon of flattery, not the weapon of threats disguised as love. Time, give it back to God. Don't look at your demonstration day by day. Let maturity bring to light first the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear. If today there is only the blade, bless it and be at rest. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. Waiting is not idleness, it is governance. And as you wait, hear the blessing that shuts the mouth of storms. Be not afraid, it is I. Matthew 14:27. Not it will be I, not it was I. It is I here in this invoice, in this interview, in this hour that looks empty and is already full. So go now, not to chase, not to prove, not to defend. Go to witness. Live the finished kingdom in ordinary hours. Rise and recognize before the coffee. Pause and recognize before the send button. Close the day with a small silence that says again, Thou art here. Act only as peace overflows. Release every outcome into the one that sent you. Neither exult in sudden gain nor mourn in sudden loss. Stay on the middle path. Stand with principle. And watch the forms will arrange themselves as a hillside arranges itself at dawn without your hands on the sun. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee, Hebrews 13:5. With that be at peace. It is finished. Let God appear as supply in his own way and time, and let your life be the quiet yes that proves it.